Hi friends, it's Mary from Middle of the Ride, and I wanted to stop by today in my apron and tell you a little story. And I thought this story would help as I'm doing a video series next week, and I'm really excited to share it with you. But I thought this video and this story might give you a little bit of background about me and why next week's video, some things in next week's videos. So what I am here to share my story about is why I call myself a dangerous cook. And I come from a long line of really great cooks. My mom is a great cook. My grandma's a great cook. My great-grandma was a great cook. Many people in my family are great cooks. And as a kid, it was just never something, I would help in the kitchen, but I never really sort of took over a cooking thing. Every now and then I would make a dish or try a recipe, but it was just never really my thing. And my line of cooks that I come from are the cook it till it looks right, add it till it tastes right. And there are a lot of things that I'm good at, but that sort of thing is not it. I've really found over the years that I work best with clear directions on how to make something work. And then, I can tweak it as I go along based on what I have or, based on what I'm dealing with. But I really need those clear directions up front because I don't know when it looks right and I don't know when it's done. So I'm learning more to cook that way because that's just kind of the way of the world, but it's not my key thing. So, as I got married and as I, try to start cooking more, I'm getting there. I'm much better than I was. I still struggle in a lot of areas, but I do sort of refer to myself as a dangerous cook, and here's my funny story why. So when my husband and I were dating, we both still lived at our parents' house. We were in the early years of college, and we spent a lot of time at each other's houses. And so we were at my then boyfriend's parents' house one day, and we had went out to the store earlier that day and saw Jiffy Pop. And for those of you who don't know, Jiffy Pop is popcorn kernels and I'm guessing oil, I'm not really sure, in this little metal device. And it has a handle, and the idea is over a campfire, over a stove, you're supposed to shake it over heat and it pops up into this nice balloon. You pop the balloon open and you have all this yummy, delicious popcorn. And I've heard many people talk about it and talk about how great it was. So I told my then boyfriend, now hubby, hey, we should get some Jiffy Pop and make it tonight while we're watching TV. So we got the Jiffy Pop and he's like, yeah, that sounds like fun. So I'm like, how do you do it? And he's like, well, you just keep shaking it. You just keep shaking it. And so he was standing in the kitchen. The kitchen's very small, and the stove's on one side and the sink's on the other, and we were sort of standing in the middle, and I'm just shaking my popcorn, and it's popping and it's popping and it's getting big, and I'm like, oh yay. I'm like, how do you know when it's done? And he's like, well, when it's not popping as much. So I'm shaking and shaking, and all of a sudden he goes, oh, and he grabs the Jiffy Pop, lifts it over my head into the sink and runs water on it. And I'm like, what? What's going on? He's like, it was on fire. And I said, what do you mean it's on fire? I didn't see it was on fire. And he's like, no, it was on fire. And by this point, smoke is just billowing out of our popcorn because it was on fire. I am a little bit on the short side. My hubby is on the tall side. And on the opposite side of where I was flames. And so somehow, I don't know how, no one I've ever talked to has been able to say that they've done this as well, or know of anyone who's done this, but I set Jiffy Pop on fire. If anyone is a dangerous cook, it's me. I set Jiffy Pop on fire. Jiffy Pop on fire, my fault. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The smoke detector just went off. We took care of that, and we ate a little bit of soggy popcorn to see what it tasted like. Not good, for the record, the soggy part. And I've been too scared to try Jiffy Pop since. So that is why I call myself a dangerous cook. I definitely am growing my skills in the kitchen. It's not something that comes naturally to me, but it is part of my ride, and so I'm definitely sharing this part of my ride with you. Do you all have any embarrassing or frightening cooking stories? Please share them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me for the series next week. I think you'll really like it. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye-bye.